Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest.
We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it?
He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I hide, my ancestors speak. They tell me the tide isn't run on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak. Until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their bones would bleed, begging the generations remember us.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. However you want to slice it. Glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. We are here yet again to drop another one for the good people. Appreciate you for taking time out of your day to spend with us over here on this side of the internet. I got Sydney in the building. You see the title. Shout outs to my poets, my writers, my content creators. Salutes to the IG OGs, man. You made me comfortable. You gave me a space to warm up, to get better at what I do. Thank you for the comment section, for the commentary, all that good stuff. Yeah, let me bring Miss Sid up here so we can get started. I got a clip I'm going to play, and I would love to know how y'all feel about it. This is not one of them stories that you're not familiar with. Everybody is familiar with this, especially if you use food stamps. Nobody's under a rock on this. Sid, what's going on? Good morning, Grand Risings.
How are you?
I am good. I am good.
Glasses again.
Appreciate it. I switched them up. I had some punk rock drinks that I was going to throw on. They ain't ready for those though. You see the title. I mean, we spoke briefly on it the other day, but I wanted to give a dedicated stream to it. Any initial thoughts? Just some little pieces that you might want to share with us before we pull up this clip. I know you know about it. I know your family know about it. I know there's been conversations about it prior to this. How are people feeling about it?
I have multiple friends that rely on this. One that relies on food assistance. I have another friend that relies on WIC, which is Women, Infant, Children. I don't know if it's available everywhere, but I know like California is big for it. And that provides food and whatnot. especially for parents with kids under 2. We also have another friend that not only relies on food benefits, but they also rely on housing benefits as well, because they're for medical reasons, they're unable to work. So this definitely touches close to home, because we do know a lot of people that rely on these systems to survive, really, not even to get by. So this is definitely a big deal. And the other thing to consider is, like, besides it affecting our friends and family members, this will directly affect us. Even though we're not relying on this for our own lives, it's still going to seep out into the rest of the economy and dramatically impact. Like, our economy is already falling apart. Like, there's no denying. Like, gold has reached prices that it's never seen before in history, ever since we've had gold. It has never hit this high of a price, which is just another indicator of just how deep we're into this. I could go on naming all of the different symptoms of these, of this. They call it a recession. It's definitely a depression. I don't care what they say. It is definitely a depression. I forgot which company it was, but they just announced 16,000 workers from firings. So anyway, we are headed towards an economic cliff, and taking this away would be beyond detrimental. Like, the number of people that rely on this assistance, I'll look up some statistics shortly, is significant. And people are already struggling to make ends meet. People are already taking out debt to cover food, to cover medical costs, to cover basic necessities, to keep the lights on in their house. People are already going homeless. We've already talked about people living in trailers, in storage units, in their cars. Like, they basically, I've even heard of people that are basically homeless, but they use gyms to, like, shower and have a place to rest, and then they spend most of their time in parks or the car. So we have people that are already on the edge, and this is not only a tipping point, this is destruction. Like, this is going to blow up the economy in ways that we've never seen in a long time. Like, nobody alive has seen the type of trauma that this country is going to go through. If anybody has ever looked into, seen the history of the Great Depression in Germany, before the rise of that special someone that they had running their country, facetiously, that is similar to what I expect we're going to experience. Like, the one thing that stood out to me, which I still remember, it was from high school that I remember seeing this picture for the first time. In Germany, they basically got screwed over, because after World War I, we demanded that they pay reparations, and it was like beyond what their GDP was, so it completely destroyed their economy. And GDP is like how much money they bring in. So we were asking for way more money than they could ever make. And so that completely blew up their economy. And it was so bad that people were using bricks of money as firewood, because that was the only thing that they were useful for, because they were so completely, utterly worthless. And we're already starting to see symptoms of that. I just heard recently that they're going to stop the production of the penny, and they're probably also going to stop production of the nickel, because it basically costs more to make those than it is worth. I think it's like, it could be even over $1 just to create a penny. So they're going to stop creating those denominations because it's not worth it anymore. So again, these are all indications of what's to come, and this is only going to be another nail in the coffin.
All right. Thank you for that. Yeah, we got a lot to unpack here. I want to bring this clip up to the main screen really quick. I'm gonna let it run quick little recap for the people who are unaware of the severity or the gravity of this. People are ready to crash out, and I mean in the literal sense.
It's a lot of people making videos worried, like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna eat if they don't stop the government shutdown by this time? We ain't gonna eat no more. Da, 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 da. Oh, it doesn't just stop there. You got people who are dumb enough, yes, dumb enough, to record themselves, post a video on this app, and say, if them food stamps don't come through on November 1st, they're gonna steal from every store they can come across. Oh yeah, and they gonna threaten everybody else that can still buy food to be like, you better not rat me out neither. And they're gonna look at these people who can actually afford food like they're the problem. Like, no, it's not people who can afford food and can afford to live. It's not their fault that you're fucking poor. No one put a gun to your head and told you to have kids when you knew you couldn't afford to do so, and now you have to be on food stamps in order to survive. No one told you to do all that. And for my entire life, the 33 years I've been on this earth, I have never understood why people who barely have like $20 to $30 to their name got time to fuck all day and produce more children, yet creates more people in poverty, especially in the black community. I mean, all those people saying that they're going to steal from every store that they come across. Y'all do realize the feds are on this app, right? And if you're in a city where the National Guard is already deployed and you're up on social media talking about you gonna steal from this store or that store and nobody better tell on you, oh yeah, you think they're not watching these videos? You think they're not remembering all the faces that are coming up here? Did y'all think about that before y'all made these videos with y'all emotional asses? No, you didn't think at all. Now, when you actually go out and do that dumb shit, it's gonna be easier for the law enforcement to find your ass. So if we're being honest, bystanders are not the ones you got to worry about ratting you out to the police, because you just came up here and told on yourself, just like the DoorDash girl. I'm really starting to realize with that one Asian lady who went viral for talking about the language of the poor, I understand wholeheartedly what she meant by that now. Like, I kind of understood it before, but seeing how everyone's acting with this EBT food stamp thing, I really see it now. Listen, at the end of all this, there's going to be a lot of people going to jail. If this shit really don't pull through for y'all really up here panicking and screaming and hollering, oh yeah, a lot of y'all about to go to jail. And I'll be somewhere in the cut just watching all this shit go down and be like, wow, that was stupid. But hey, let me know what y'all think about all this. Make sure you like, share, and follow for more. It's a lot.
Yo. Between what you already said initially and this right here, and like I already did one reaction video where a woman was basically saying everything that he just said. Where do I want to go first? Damn.
If you want, I could read the stats of how many people are on EBT.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, an average of 41.7 million people received Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is SNAP, which is about 12% of the population. Of this, approximately 19% of households who receive SNAP have children. Households without children, 10.8%. Single parent households with children, 36.2%. And married couple households without children, 5.6%. And then the other one, to me, that's the most concerning, is the majority of EBT recipients are not expected to work because they're either children, elderly, or disabled. This represents 71% of people who rely on SNAP benefits. And so, as I said, this is going to affect very significantly the people that already are on the edge, that already can't help themselves for various reasons. They're too young, they're too old, or they have things preventing them from working. For example, the friend that I mentioned, he is unable to drive for medical reasons. And so even if he lives in an area where there's like not much, kind of Southern California desert area. And so he wouldn't have very many opportunities. And we're already seeing too that people who are qualified are struggling to find jobs. So now imagine what it's going to be like for people that have significant things preventing them from being able to work. We're going to have people that are 80, 90 being forced to go back into the workforce just to survive. I've already heard of people that are like 70, 80, 90 taking up gig work, like doing DoorDash or doing Uber or doing all of that stuff if they are able to. So this is going to be extremely damaging to basically every demographic except for the wealthy that don't rely on this. And I think the other thing that's kind of ironic is this is going to trickle down or trickle up to them, because once we have all of these people that are literally suffering and cannot eat and have to spend their entire paycheck on just food and bills, the spending, that the discretionary spending, the stuff that people buy just because, is going to plummet. All of these companies that rely on us to buy toys, to buy clothes, to buy furniture and fancy decorations and all that fun stuff, like all the boo-boos and the Stanley Cups and all that stuff, like that's going to crash. They're not going to be buying anything anymore because they're going to be struggling even to get food on the table. So we're going to see even these companies being affected. I mean, we're already kind of seeing it where at Walmart recently, I've heard that they have started removing price tags off of clothing because it's been discouraging people from buying things because they see how expensive it is. I've been hearing from restaurants and like food type places, fast food and whatnot. Even fast food is being impacted by decreased consumption. I heard another person who was working at a restaurant say that in the past, in the last, she's worked for over a decade. In the last couple years, in previous years, it would be booked on Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday. But now, even Friday, there might be one person there at the restaurant. And again, these are indications of just how badly people are suffering right now. And this is only going to make this 1,000 times worse, because now the people that rely on this and already don't have a source of income are basically going to lose their income. Imagine if they said to like 70% of Americans, I know you're working, but we don't want you to work anymore. You're not allowed to have a job. Imagine what that would do. How much damage that would do to the economy, how much damage that would do to their lives. And that's basically what they're doing. They're saying, I know you rely on this, but we're not giving you this anymore. So good luck finding food. Maybe start growing weeds in your backyard. That might help.
I believe this was yesterday that I did this. What I said basically was I understand, and in fact, I utilize the EBT, past, present. I've partook of it, but there's a couple things I want to address. One, something that he has said within a video, I absolutely agree with 100%. Took me back to the episode on the poor man's mindset. And being irresponsible while also being outraged is such an oxymoron to me. I don't understand how you could be angry, but you put yourself in a position where you're able-bodied, right? You're not disabled. You don't have terminal illnesses. You're not on your deathbed. You're not in hospice. You're a fully functional adult that is just as capable of going out here and doing what the rest of us citizens do day in and day out. Even though I believe that they're just screwing us. This particular situation further proves that they're screwing us. But you are not disabled. You're not in a wheelchair, my nigga. You can work. I have an issue with you because I don't want to hear you cry. I don't want to hear you complain. Nobody has any empathy for you because you, as an adult, at some point in your life decided that you would bear children with other adults or teenagers at the particular time that you did. You decided that living according to your own rebellious nature superseded the future. And so now you're in a space where you don't want to work. You could, but you don't want to. You've gotten accustomed to living off of the government. It's different when it's somebody that has 2 or 3 jobs, because we already know everything's expensive. You just said it. They taking price tags off of stuff. Eggs, milk, cereal, bread, you name it. Everything has significantly skyrocketed. The government assistance, the EBT, the food, all that, those are subsidiaries. Those are things that help alleviate the pressure of already having to spend $68 to $80 on gas. You're spending literally $60 to $80 a week on gas to go back and forth to a job that doesn't even pay you enough. Then on top of that, your rent, electric, gas, utilities. I could understand if the government was helping alleviate or remove the pressures and burdens, but instead what they're doing is adding on to it with these ridiculous tariffs, sending money to other countries that should be put on the back burner, whereas you should be addressing the country that you're looking over. For the workers that's really busting their ass, I could understand them having an issue with this because they working. They look, they have the same amount of kids or less. They have families. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're single. But the point is they're working. I could see them saying, look, man, this ain't it. I'm not having it, I'm not feeling it. What are y'all doing? But for the rest of y'all who just like to be out here sleeping around and you just want to lay up off of the hard earning backs of those who put and pay taxes, and you only spending $10, $30 on housing, you don't even have the same level of performance burdens that the rest of us do. I don't want to hear nothing from you. don't make no sense, don't add up to me whatsoever. I feel bad more for the kids, if anything else. Adults, y'all can kiss my ass. I don't care. But for the kids, they didn't ask to be put in that position. That's irresponsible. I'm gonna yield the mic for right now, but I do think that this is extremely wicked. I really believe that it's systemic. Nothing that the government is doing right now is not out of coincidence. There's nothing out of coincidence about this whatsoever. This is really, really brutal. This is trifling. This is unadulterated. It blows my mind. Like I'm really up to here with it. And then on top of that, you think about Trump tore down the East Wing so he could put a ballroom up, a $250 dance studio, basically. He's basically putting the club in the White House. Meanwhile, you're telling me you about to put all these people in such a hardship. I yield the mic.
I joked with my mother-in-law that the only reason he wanted the Nobel Peace Prize is because it was gold and matched his ballroom. But yeah, these people are so out of touch with what the reality is. And I mean, to be honest, I've kind of suspected that they've wanted to do this for a very long time, because they are very much the individuals that have been promoting the myth about welfare and making it seem like all the people on welfare are just illegal immigrants and people that don't want to work, people that don't really care and aren't making an effort or are committing fraud or whatever, which there are small percentages of people that are relying on welfare because they are lazy and they don't want to work. But a tremendous number, a high percentage, are people that genuinely need it. And also, there's a vetting system. And so the chances of illegal immigrants illegally getting these benefits is pretty slim, because you have to put in your social security number, you have to put in evidence that you're looking for work, you have to put in information about where you live and your background and all this stuff, just to get those minute benefits, which honestly, even the benefits aren't that much. People still struggle to get what they need on just those benefits. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that we are helping them, our friend would not be able to afford everything that they need. And this is not an isolated incident. People across the country are barely making it, even if they do make an income. Never mind the meager handouts that they give us. And like, they recently upped people's benefits, and at least from my friend's standpoint, they increased her monthly benefits by $6. It's like, even when they increase the benefits, it's not helpful. Like, cool, I can buy an extra bunch of bananas. Yay. This stuff does not actually help people in the way that they claim to, and they make it sound like people are stealing hundreds of millions of dollars, and they especially love to paint women as the ones that are like sapping the system, and you're just lazy, you're a single mom who didn't care, and you're just trying to take advantage of everyone. And it's not true. Like, obviously there are women, there are men that do that. There are people that are just terrible or have mental problems, and so they don't really know how to exist in the society without like using people. But a lot of people are very well-meaning individuals. They're just hard on their luck and have experienced things that make it difficult for them to get by. A lot of them are on the cusp of homelessness. A lot of them have been have had a rough early life, and so they didn't have as easy access to education and good jobs as other people have. And also just like the stigma of like, oh, you lived this life? No, I don't want to hire you. We have so many different things that unofficially disqualify us from jobs. Like, everyone knows if you have tattoos, you're less likely to get hired. Everyone knows that if you're a single mom, you're less likely to get hired because they're like, oh, she's not going to be reliable. Everyone knows if you have had a shortened job history or a sparse job history or have a history in jail or prison with the law, you are less likely to get a job. One of the episodes we did last week where we were talking about people in prison, one of the statistics I found was on average, it takes people over a year after they get out of prison to be able to find their first job. And it's usually like low income type meager work. So even if people want to better their lives and don't want to rely on the system, they are set up to fail. And so they aren't able to get out of the loop, especially because not having a high income limits you in so many other ways that people don't realize. Like, if you're low income, you can't use your car as much, or you might not even be able to have a car. You might not be able to afford gas. And so what if you do find a job but can't get there because you don't have a car or you can't afford to get there? Like, for example, I was saying we wanted to look at homes so we can spend less money. And we can't, because we'd have to travel like 2 hours to my husband's work just to be able to find a home that we can afford. And so even if we wanted to save money, we couldn't, because then we'd be losing money by trying to save money. So they have, as I said, they've set us up to fail. And they also are priming us to victimize or villainize the people that are relying on these systems. That's why, I mean, really, it's the government that are the ones promoting all this stuff about welfare moms and illegal immigrants in the system and all that stuff. I even wrote this last week. This is a short one on welfare moms. Welfare moms are moms in need, abandoned women at risk of violence, left alone to suffer in silence. Welfare queens are ladies who lost jobs or girls who can't work but still can't get by. Welfare queens are homeless gals or veteran sisters that have been neglected by the system. Welfare queens are lassies and frauds struggling with their health. If you know a welfare queen, be kind and have some empathy. You never know their story. You don't know where they've been. Welfare queens could soon be you or me if forsaken on the streets. And it encompasses all types of people that have served our country, people that are trying to make it, people that are trying to create a better life for their children, people that are just unable to find housing, and people who got unlucky and lost their jobs. Even people, like, I've heard stories from people that they used to be professors, they used to be doctors, they were high rate, like they worked very white collar jobs, and they were wealthy, but something happened, an illness, an injury, they lost their job for some reason, and they ended up on the streets. Like, some of these people used to be millionaires and then they're on the streets. I've even heard rumors that a lot of these celebrities that we know for being wealthy are struggling to make ends meet. I always like to make fun of them, but the Kardashians, apparently they've been taking sponsorships with like mobile games because they can't even make it. They're struggling to get by. They're not getting the big gigs that they used to get. And so they're taking little bitty things that are arguably kind of humorous to see them taking, just because they also aren't able to make it. A record number of people that make over $100,000 are starting to turn to seeking food handouts, food banks, EBT, stuff like that. Even though a lot of them don't qualify for EBT. That's another thing. You can just barely miss qualifying for EBT. So even though you're really struggling and can't afford food, you might not even qualify for EBT. That's another huge problem that people are experiencing, is they are struggling to make ends meet. They are struggling to get the food they need, but they aren't able to get EBT in general anyways. And then, as I said, like, veterans are a huge component of this as well, because a lot of them come back with like mental problems, sometimes physical issues. And often when you are in the military for long periods of time, like, your housing has been provided for you, your everything else has been taken care of. And so in certain circumstances, it can be hard to enter back into the real world, especially if you've been in for a long time, because you don't have like a rental history. And the transition can be difficult. Finding a civilian job can be difficult. And all of these people are ones that are reliant on these systems. And I recently even saw, because of the shutdown, record numbers of military families who are in the military currently are starting to turn to food banks, because even they can't afford food. It's crazy to think that the supposed group they care the most about, the government claims they care about the military the most, and it receives the second most spending, I believe, in our country after ICE. Even they can't afford to live, which is crazy. And right now, they're, with the shutdown, a lot of them aren't even getting paid, and they don't even want to pay them. I've heard that they're trying to fight. So the furloughed workers, the ones that work at national parks, the ones that work in TSA and various other jobs, I think maybe DMV and stuff like that, they're trying not to get away with not paying them. So basically, when they come back to work, they just get paid from then on, but they want to make it so they don't get back pay. So all of those weeks, or however long this goes on, months, that they are without money, they're not going to be able to get that money back. There's also rumors that the military is now going to be paid in loans rather than actual funds, which means once you do get your paychecks, you're going to have to pay back the money that they owed you, which is crazy to think about. And again, this is just the beginning. We're only 10 months in to this horrendous abomination of a regime, and they don't want us to have access to anything. They want all the money for themselves. They want to enrich the richest people on the planet. They're giving money to other countries instead of their own civilians. They've bailed out Argentina twice, I believe. I don't know if the second time was approved yet, but I know they've been planning to bail out Argentina a second time, which is wild because we need to be bailed out. We're like $7 trillion in debt right now. Let's see. $37.9 trillion of debt. And they paid Argentina over, let's see, looks like $66 billion. $82 billion. Yeah. So we're giving money away left and right to all these other countries, but they don't give a bleep about any of the civilians. Nobody that lives here. Unless you make the money.
Yeah, this country greedy, extremely greedy. I don't think anybody should be surprised at this point at where we are. There's another video. I don't know if I've uploaded it yet. I might have. Where they're trying to get all of our funds transferred digitally, which goes back to what you said about them removing the nickel and the penny. There's I can't remember if it was like London or somewhere. There's another country. They have a bank where they're trying to take you from Bitcoin to their currency. It's like it's a lot of stuff that's messed up right now. I don't think the country's aware of. And to me, this is just further evidence how they really feel about us. And I've said it before, they want us to have something, but not so much that we can threaten their positions of power. So they're trying to starve you. They're trying to put you in a fear-mongering space. And the people that are crashing out on TikTok and Twitter and all the y'all that's talking about y'all gonna go and rob these stores and you're gonna steal from them and this, that, and the third, that's exactly what they want you to do. They know who they targeted. They know exactly who they are reaching out to when they do this.
They'll use martial law once we start doing that too, because then with martial law, then they can use the military as the law enforcement rather than regular law enforcement.
It's coming. And the people, you're falling right into the trap. I mean, matter of fact, it's not just, we've already been casually being guided into it. Like a big kid with a magnifying glass sitting on his porch, holding it over ants. That's all it is. You go out there and start stealing. Go ahead. Go ahead and go into these stores. They got all the surveillance. You ain't got to worry about nobody telling on you. Go into these stores. Do what you say you're going to do. But then watch what happens. You're not critically thinking. For one, we didn't have to be here. This could have been avoided. But we are here. And a part of that is because of your lack of concern or consideration for everybody else that's going to be affected by it. We're only thinking about ourselves. So you go in here and you do what you do, then your kids are removed from your house, or you're removed from the house. Then you just set them up for failure even further, giving them more confirmation to continue to do what they're doing already, instead of using your brain and saying, maybe there's a point in time in my life where I'm gonna have to stop thinking about myself and I'm gonna have to be a little more united with the general public on certain matters that concern our country, because they continuously show us that it's them against us. There is no United States. There's the rich, and then there's the poor. Period. And they've been using these systems to continuously wear you down mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, persecuting you for your beliefs, persecuting you for being against this, censoring you, telling you this is all that you can ever have and become, telling you that you're no better than this person or that person, putting all types of television in front of your face to distract you from all the laws that they're putting into place, breadcrumbing you. Donald Trump has breadcrumbed the people. I'm gonna try to find that video. But basically, what they said was, for the MAGA supporters and everybody who was behind Donald Trump, he used you to get to everybody else, but you're in the same boat that we're in. You don't even realize it. He's using you the same way he is using us, but he's using you to get to us by breadcrumbing you into believing that he's on your side. In all reality, he don't care about you, me, or the next person. All of you are being manipulated. All of us are being manipulated. Some of you might have more knowledge on this than I do. Well, raise your hands, stand up, post, promote, advertise, have open conversations. Show us the way, show us the light. Help us help ourselves and everybody else that needs this, because this ain't going to get no better. No, this is going to get worse. And it's going to continue to get worse. Why? Because they've already had this planned out. I can't tell you a timestamp. I don't know exactly where. I know it's already been happening. They've already been talking about it. Everything that you see is a manifestation of things that they've already had discussions over. The divisiveness between men and women, the issues in the environment, the suffrage of our agriculture, all of it, everything is not something that you just woke up today and said, oh, what happened? Nah, it's already been in our face. We just ignore it. I yield the mic. I'm gonna see if I can find that clip real fast. Let me see something.
Yeah, I think this is the moment, I think, that's going to push, at least I hope, it's going to push society in America and possibly even the rest of the world, because I know that, I mean, we've seen from the No Kings demonstrations that this despise of him and all of his cronies extends beyond our borders. Like, we saw people from all over the world. I saw people even in the Middle East, in Asia, in Australia, in Europe, South America, all over. People were marching because they all see it. They all know what's happening, and they all support us. And I imagine that as this escalates, it's going to progress to the point that we are going to reject them entirely. We are going to revolt against them, and we will no longer be supplementing any of their stores, their CEOs, what's his face? Oh my gosh, what's his name? The one that shot the CEO. Like, I don't think those are going to be isolated incidences. I think that towards the future, it's going to be the left and the right, because people are going to get so desperate and so downtrodden that they'll feel they have no choice but to take out these people that are causing this damage on society. Not saying that is the right thing to do at all. I'm not advocating for this. We should not be killing people just because we're unhappy. There are many other methods you can take to fight this, including boycotting, including marching, including voting, and ensuring that the people that you vote for actually represent you and what you need and what your city needs and your country needs. But I know just from statistics, it's very likely we're going to start seeing more of this. People are, I mean, we've already been seeing it. the people that voted for Trump have been flipping left and right. They have, or I should say, flipping from right to left. They are astonished somehow that he is taking away their benefits because, oh, apparently he was going to help them and he was going to enrich us all and we were all going to get payouts and all these fun lies that he was telling to get himself elected. And now they're kind of smacked in the face with the reality that he doesn't care about any of them. And he said over and over that he enjoys people that are not paying attention, in other words. And this is exactly the type of people that he was trying to appeal to, the people that didn't want to pay attention to what was actually happening around them and who just wanted to blindly follow what everyone else said. And we're now seeing the repercussions of that. This is what happens when we have a disengaged community. Like the last 2 elections, I believe, I know at least with Biden, it had some of the lowest turnouts of any election. I think it was like close to 25 or 35%. I might be wrong on that, but I know a significant number of people just didn't care to vote. But this whole thing has engaged everyone at this point, unless you're even some of the highly wealthy people are sick and tired of him and don't want to support him anymore. We've even seen hard right wingers switching. Joe Rogan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not that I trust any of them, but Fox News has been flipping. And I've heard rumors that a bunch of staff from Fox News that had left are planning a lawsuit against Fox for sharing and spreading lies about Trump and everything else. So people are definitely getting to that boiling point where they're no longer willing to put up with this. We are at our don't tread on me, Paul Revere time in our history where we are just waiting for whatever's about to come, because I don't know if it's going to be a civil war type situation or a secession type situation where states just decide to leave the United States and create their own thing. I know California has had rumors of that for God knows how long. But this is coming to a head. This is no longer being put up with on a global stage. He is a humiliating, complete disgrace of a leader, and everyone sees it. I mean, I just watched this video of him shaking hands with the French Prime Minister, and he's shaking hands with her, and she's literally like, I don't want to be doing this right now. So they all hate him as much as we do. And it's really just, it's his group of garbage people like Stephen Miller and the one that never sees anything. I can't remember his name right now. Not Mike Pence. The Speaker of the House. They all pander to him. There's nepotism. Trump's own son is being put on the board for TikTok. People can see the complete farce that this government has become, and they're not going to stand for it anymore. As we said, 7 million people showed up for those marches. And I imagine there were a bunch more people that just couldn't make it because they had to work or something. So we probably could have had way more people on the streets who wish they could have been there. And I believe that march was the biggest march in U.S. history, with exception to the first environmental movement. So that just shows you the fever pitch that this whole situation has reached. And I imagine, especially as people lose their jobs, as people don't have anything left to work for, they're going to have all the time in the world to walk the streets, walk to Washington, and we're going to have to boycott purposefully because we're not even going to have the money to spend. I mean, Target, Walmart, Burlington Coat Factory, all even Temu, like all of these places that had been raking in the money, Amazon as well, they're complaining that they're having a drop in traffic. And this is partially because people don't want to support these companies anymore, but it's also because people can't afford to support those companies anymore. And so, as I said, as people start to lose the things they rely on, they're going to have the anger and the time needed to show just how unhappy they are.
This part is very clear. You're nothing but a pawn, and you'll remain a pawn until you play. The rules are clear. Take what they give you, give away what you have to, and the difference is yours. The question is, how big is the difference?
Are you really intending to win?
Well, why not? There are lots like me, and we're the actual players. Because on one side of us are the real cattle who let TV do the thinking for them, while on the other is power who believe that we are shit and feeble-minded cattle. Over in the barn, they want us to take care of them. But a long time ago, they gave up on themselves, and now they won't lift a single finger. While those who have real power became more than the rest. Became gods. They sit so high up that they can't see us as either a serious enemy or a trusted friend. They have only one problem, that they're not immortal. That just leaves you and me. Sometimes I benefit you, other times you me. Everyone plays a game of their own.
Think you're a player, do you?
I play like the great ones. Take the authorities. Quite unceremonious, but they do have a few lively plays up their sleeves with the people. Every couple of months, they let them blow off steam. Elections, Black Friday, and...
So I've noticed this particular malevolent entity that is attached and testing many people right now, including myself, that I'm just now realizing. What it'll do is it'll feed you ideas and feed you thoughts that will lead you to be narcissistic and selfish, and it'll deceive you into thinking that the world is against you and the people that have always loved you and supported you and had your back since day one are out to get you, and that they're not to be trusted. The spiritual warfare at this point has just gotten out of hand, crazy, more intense than ever. And I guarantee you that some of you guys watching this right now are either possessed or you have something attached to you that's been affecting you negatively that you're totally unaware of. But with this particular entity I'm speaking of, right, I've noticed that it'll attack people, it'll test people who are in their ego and think they know it all, but they lack awareness in a particular area. They have a blind spot. And this is why it's important to make sure you don't OD on the knowledge, guys. Don't rush the journey. I've noticed people will rush their spiritual awakening. They overload their brain on all this information. They learn that they're in a matrix, that there's a spiritual realm, and they might be the only awakened one in their family or amongst their friends, right? They might feel alone. So what happens is they become paranoid. They become delusional. They start thinking the world is against them, and they start to lose their human qualities. And they start to become controlled. This is something I've been dealing with for a long time now that I'm just now realizing. And now that I realize it in myself, I'm seeing it in so many people. It's crazy. I mean, this entity will feed you thoughts and have you fully convinced that you shouldn't trust or love someone that's really had your back and has really done right by you. It'll convince you that you're fully healed and that you don't have any shadow work to do when really you do. You're just delusional and you're blind and you're being controlled. It even has the ability to portray itself as something else. You might think you're talking to an ancestor or the Most High, but you're really not. You're talking to that entity.
I just wanted to play a couple of those clips for the people, man. I mean, I don't know what y'all doing right now. You might be with your family. You might be at work. You might be at the gym. And you might be playing around with your kids or your animals. But the truth of the matter is, this is a spiritual issue on top of being a secular issue. The level of delusion and absence of understanding how deep this actually goes is very troubling. Very. Because on the surface level, what you got is a bunch of human beings pretty much playing with their toys and using their pens and papers. But on the spiritual side of it, there are principalities in which we do not see, nor can we comprehend, that are catalysts behind the greed, the anger, the resentment, the control that we are witnessing today. I only offer different perspectives. What I'm witnessing is prophetic. What I'm witnessing won't be denied. You can believe it, you can ignore it, you can brush it off and go on with the rest of your life as if it doesn't have any direct effect on you at all. But we both know that's a lie. An absolute lie. A lot of these folks are operating from a demonic place, and they're being influenced from a demonic place. Because a country that loves its citizens would not reflect what we are watching. Period. A country that loves its people would not watch its people sick. You would not want your people on the street. You would not want your people in danger, trafficked. You would not want your people fighting amongst each other. A country that actually loves and cares about its nation would not take from it, but would pour into it. And this country has not been pouring into it. Not from where I'm sitting. Everybody is not going to be millionaires. Everybody's not going to make $20,000, $30,000 a year. And everybody's not going to live in the most luxurious houses. You're taking food out of people's mouth. You're making it impossible for folks to get by throughout the week. You're promoting and advertising things that are spiritually wicked. How can you say you care? How can you say this is the United States of America? You got 7 million people who disagree with you. 7 million.
At least that. At least that number.
Oh, and to add on me, you, and everybody in your house, we don't agree with you. I know a few people right now that do not see life the way that you see it at all. I understand the frustration, but breaking into stores and robbing them and doing that's not going to make it any better. It ain't. That's counterproductive. And on top of that, you really can't put all the blame on them for why we are where we are. Give them credit where credit is due, but look in the mirror too. Is there anything that you want to add, or I yield the mic?
I have a poem. This one doesn't have a name as well. I wrote this before and during the podcast, so I don't have a name for it yet. The moneyed should be careful with what they try to say and give a long hard think before they take away. The organized systems we rely on week by week, expecting we don't notice their planexia and deceit. What the entitled don't understand will hurt us all so dearly, yet this reality rising before our eyes is truly not seen clearly. In each decision these people make, they only take and take. And as they sap from our society, they make one grave mistake. For thinking we aren't watching and will roll over just to please, for the crowds that once enriched them will bring them to their knees. Through our rage, our dollars, our feet, our fight, we will show these rich assholes we know wrong from right. In the end, there will come a day when they finally see, as they're exposed for who they are, what it's like to be broke and not free.
This is America, folks. This is where we are. This is what we got. What do you want to do about it? It's all about your approach. It's all about how you react, how you respond to it. We have an opportunity here. I like to believe that there's always a alternate option, so to speak. Don't know how much anything's going to change in the next 2 months or so. Hell, in the next couple days and weeks. But today, while we're here, you can take an alternate route in how you decide to move forward with this information, or how you decide to handle this on your own behalf, wherever you are in this country, especially if you're about to be on the side where they actually go through with cutting this off. If they can control you up here, they can control you everywhere else. The only power that they don't have over you is the power that is already inside of you, that, like your knowledge, the information that you take in and you put out there. They can't control your brain and your autonomy. That's something that you still have 100% to yourself. So I appreciate y'all.
I actually have a quick poem that goes off of what you just said, if you want.
Go ahead.
I read it before. Let me find it. Let me find it really quick.
Shout out to the people who pulled up today. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. We will be back later, Lord willing, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you got time to hang out with us, definitely pull up.
One sec. I have to define which book it's in.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Every time I turn on the news, there's something. They doing everything in their power to piss people off. Like, you have to really be locked in. You got to have all levels of faith, patience, and control over your mind and your body, man. Because they coming after us. The enemy is coming after us, attacking our ego, attacking our pride, our values, our self-worth. doing everything possible to deteriorate your hope and your dreams and your faith in God, man. I'm telling you, like, don't allow them to keep on manipulating and lying to you and trying to control the narrative. They trying to push people over the edge.
Okay. I love this one. I've read this one before, but what you said made me think of it because it's like the same idea. This is never silent. If you take my paper, I will dye my thoughts into my robes. If you take my cloth, I will carve my musings into stone. If you pull the earth from beneath my feet, I'll scar my story into my skin. So even when you choose inhuman deeds to steal the voice within my chest, I will have already inscribed my very breath into my bones. And from afar, I'll watch you try to steal the dignity for which I died, while my fossils stand stark and proud, dispelling all your lies.
Good poem. Good poem. Both of them. Very, very good. I thank you for sharing those. Thank you for being here this morning as well. We're in the afternoon portion. So if y'all hung around this long, I thank you. I appreciate it. While you're here, if you got a couple seconds, check out that QR code up there at the top. That is Sydney. That is her Blue Sky. If y'all want to keep in contact with her, you already know how to reach out to me. Just hit the bell, hit the notifications so you don't miss any of the uploads, any of the conversations. If you ever want to join a panel, reach out to me. We can make it happen. If you have any topics that you want to see discussed up here, shoot me an email, all that good stuff. We will be back later on this evening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Do me a solid before you go.
What's the goddamn button?
Peace, peace, peace.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I am, my ancestors